thing. All right, and we've probably gone live, and we've started on the screen share, but let's just have some real people faces for a moment. Sam and Janet here, yay! And I'll just go to screen share. Rose has said she's going to be a little bit late. Yeah, so we don't really have anything on the agenda of huge import. Yeah, Richard and Janet need the part 2. I've hopefully should have some time to do that later this evening. My time. Looks like Richard put in an agenda item there, but he is not. Oh no, and there is Richard.
Just joined us. Hi, Richard.
Excellent, perfect timing, Richard. We were just coming to your agenda item. How are things in your part of the world, Richard? We can sort of see you, Richard, but we can't hear you at the moment.
Yeah, I haven't. Tab is just still opening, so let me know.
Well, we can hear you now, and I mean, in general, if there's audio issues, that you know,
right, I'm about to do that. I didn't hear what you said, but I'm assuming it's turned the camera off.
Yeah, pretty much. That's I had
yeah. I just, it was still starting up, so I wasn't even. Yeah, and now I'm hearing you, and I assume you're hearing me.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, and so you were saying, go on.
Yeah, and we can. I was sitting at another link for a while. So.
Oh, were you?
Oh.
Okay, that's interesting.
And it was the one that I got to. I waited a few minutes, and then I clicked the Start Hangout thing, and I was sitting there.
I think probably that was, the page not refreshed. Like, if you had refreshed the page, it would have started up, or at least that's what it's supposed to.
Right, and I did. I mean, not to be contrary, but I did do the refresh.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like it does look like it has. Yeah, it is still saying not yet live.
Yeah, and I just did it again this second.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Anyway,
no,
what I was
something has failed there.
Right. I don't know. I don't mean to interrupt what you guys might have been talking about, but so. Where are you? I got to get back.
No, we were talking about you. So.
Oh, okay.
we were just coming to your item on the agenda, and yeah, it looks like it's failed.
Just to mention, the thing that I assumed is that if I do a Start Hangout link, I mean, does it create another another link when you click it?
Yeah, they unfortunately do so. I mean, what the way it's supposed to work. See, now that I've updated, what's supposed to happen is there's a connection service in the Hangout itself, and so when you click Start Hangout, assuming that it all loads up correctly, then some code runs in the Hangout, and then it talks back to the Agile Ventures site and says, "Hey, the Hangout's working. Here's the URL for the Hangout," and it updates the page. If for some reason that software in the Hangout fails, as is, I'm looking at it here, it appears to have failed today, then it doesn't update the site, and the site is left in a state of, the site thinks that the Hangout hasn't started, so it still presents the button that will keep creating new Hangouts. But if the software that talks back from the Hangout to the site is not working, then it never knows that the Hangout started.
Okay, and that where it says Edit Hangout Link, so that's something that gets refreshed.
Well, that's the edit. This is now. I've done the hearing from you that it failed.
Right.
Then I have gone in and manually overridden it, and I've said, right, actually, I did start the Hangout, and here is the link. And now it's, I perform the function that we used to have to do manually, that then this plugin for Google Hangouts does automatically when it works. And it has been, to be fair, it's been quite reliable for the last couple of months. Hopefully, this will only be a blip. But I think it underpins a problem that we have in the system, that what should happen really is at the point at which somebody clicks Start Hangout, we should detect that event, and we should change the state on the server at that point. So there's all sorts of interesting, usability and agile design issues that just pour out of all of the things that we do here.
And my thing just is that before I did the start, because I figured you would be starting it, so I didn't want to start it, but I thought, well, maybe if the page isn't up refreshing when it should, what I did first was I went into the Edit Hangout link and copied that and opened that.
Okay, but that one, if it's still saying, not yet live, that link that's in there refers to the old one from like a week ago.
That's what I was just trying to confirm. That's all consistent now. So I was basically wasting my.
Unfortunately, although we had a nice, I was able to in the interim, I was able to invite Janet into Slack, and so we got some new. Actually, the students here at Makers have started doing two new projects have kicked off with charities here, which is nice and good and fun and so on. But yes, no, so we just did Janet and I just did that, and then we were just coming to I was just reading out this thing here, which was your agenda item, and then you arrived. So perfect timing.
And if there's time before we end, which will be ending soon, I know. I probably I could say something about Slack. Yeah, this was just something. There was nothing on the agenda, and this is where I'm about to assign homework 2. I assigned the Chapter 4 walkthrough. We started it in class last Friday, and I've been holding back on releasing the homeworks until like the night before a lab class day. This way, so the students at least start up and sync, because basically it allows them to sort of talk and discuss in pairs. Because basically, once any time passes, they're all at different points, and the pairing in class pairing becomes a lot more problematic. So that's what I'm just trying to do, is like, what can I do as an introductory? That was just a thought I had, and it's just what was on my mind.
Sure. Stuff to get them warmed up for working on homework 2.
Right.
And you've already done the Chapter 4 walkthrough.
Well, we've assigned it. Who knows how much anyone is really. They worked on it in class, and a few of them at least have the key pair, the SSH key pair.
Yeah, I mean, I think like demoing little pieces of that Chapter 4 certainly wouldn't go amiss in terms of, if you're unclear to what extent the class has actually done it, and even the people who have done it, I'm sure in potential for gain from a little bit of a code demo on that.
Right. Yeah, and again, definitely the debugging without question. But I think I sort of want to show them the debugging. Maybe show them like, oh, look how the params hash goes sort of back and forth and is used. Doing something silly in a controller. Yeah. Show them how to sort. Maybe I was thinking even just sort the words in a title or something like that. To show the effect of each one of these things and to get them into like experimenting and playing.
I mean,
but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you've flipped your classroom to some extent, though.
Yeah, and my problem is that. In other courses, I think I can do a better job lecturing. Like I have I have an understanding, conceptualization of the material. Not so much in this class. I find it hard. I could get on like the easier side of some things. Like I'll lecture about regular expressions, about teams, about this and that. But when it comes to like Ruby and Rails, I just don't know it well enough to be able to like, come up with my own better lecture.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm sort of struggling and saying, well, maybe if I do some like introductory demo kind of things.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I mean, I'm kind of where I am here with Makers is kind of saying, oh, I said this again 3 years ago for HPU, but I'm kind of really down on the lecture format in as much as I'm kind of feeling like I think you can have like a great lecture and you can have a point and people can have real breakthroughs in lectures, but I think often it ends up being like 50% of 50% of 50% of the material. Like it's kind of out of a lecture. You could make
Ben, we just lost you.
Completely.
Okay.
And the thing that I'm talking about with people here at Makers is doing basically just kind of scrapping, because partly was all the lectures recorded, but sort of scrapping the lectures and just making all of the activity, all of the delivering of information in scaffolded pairing sessions. So if we're saying anything to the students, it should be at a point at which they have asked a question, and then the information is delivered, and leave it to the students. If the students are, if we identify a group of 4, 8, or 12 who are actually saying, look, we need some high-level conceptual overview, and it sort of makes sense to bring them together in a group, then do that then, but only do it when the students demand it and kind of just drive everything through scaffolded pairing. But we'll see if I can convince my colleagues that this is the way to go on our next 6-week iteration.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. You know, part of the issue I have is like the little education game that I feel like I'm playing, because I'm assuming people are not going into your Baker's Academy like sort of half-hearted, not really interested in learning anything, right?
Well, I
or
don't
do
know.
you
I
have those
mean,
kinds
we would. I think we don't have the same issue as you do in the system, but I think we have that to varying degrees. But I guess what I would say is that, I mean, in some ways, like, if you're gonna, I mean, how many students are you gonna have in the session that you do today? Like 120 or something, or how many students are you gonna have?
Well, we'll have 50 students. I mean,
Right.
not today, but in tomorrow in the classroom we'll have about about 50 in each class.
Right. But would an alternative thing to be rather than like spending an hour where you were doing these sorts of code demos, could you not say, right, like, okay, in this class time now, you guys should all continue working through chapter 4, and I will.
Well, that's what I mostly have been doing. That's what I did last Friday.
Okay, yeah, right.
That's what I'm doing this Friday. And part of the issue is that I get the students that feel like they want to be lectured at. Like,
okay, so there's some of them who are saying, hey, you get a sense from them that they want some lectures.
Right, but just possibly just so they can sleep and look at
Well,
their
that's
face.
what I'm saying. Yeah,
But
yeah, I hear you.
you know, I mean, I take it with a grain of salt, and they sort of, well, you're not, like, we're paying you for this class. If we just wanted to sit, we could do this work at home, or we could watch these lectures.
Oh, would you?
Indeed.
So it's frustrating.
Well, I mean, I guess the interesting thing that I would be saying to those is that it's like, no, by providing you a space here, the critical thing is not that you're just doing this and doing the walkthrough by yourself, is that you're doing it in a pair and you're practicing the communication skills with the other pair. So that's partly what we're providing, and what you're getting in the session is me coming around and providing you help and assistance on doing the pairing activity and so on.
That's 100%. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing. The thing is that the pairs don't always work because people aren't in the same mindset. And I say, like, move around and stuff, but people don't. People don't do that. And
but so room of 50, do you have a couple of TAs in there to kind of be?
I have not only that. I sort of buck the system. Is that usually I get 1 TA per class, and what I did is I basically hired 3.
Right.
In the sense that it's because I have 2 classes, I said let them each work less hours, and instead of getting 2, I got 3, and I have all 3 come to both sessions. That's the way that I use them.
And so at least some of the sessions, it sounds like you've got basically it's like a lab session. So
yeah. And I'm doing. I mean, all this is because of you.
Yeah. Well,
no, I'm just joking. But you see, like, I'm answering your question so well because I really am trying to make that happen in the class. And I was just thinking, well, let me do something as a little bit of break. I was figuring maybe half the class I could do like demonstration.
Oh yeah. No, I think that sounds. Yeah. You have. I think that there is an extent to which you want to mix it. You want to mix it up. Like sometimes people need a change of pace and so on.
Right. And the frustration is that that I'm going to lecture on these things and say what you need to do homework to, and it's going to go in most cases like right. It does not. It's not going to sink in until they hit the problem, and then they say, "Oh, how do we do so and so?" It's like, well, that's exactly what I spent 20 minutes talking about the other day.
Yeah, and that's. Are you videoing your own lecture? I guess the partly there is like videoing and then saying, so that they are able to rewatch it after they've encountered the problem in the thing. Do you video
sort
your lectures?
Right, except we have, like, I have a wiki with like helpful hints, and it's like all there too, and so even when we whether
even if
we write it down, people don't look. Anyway, enough. I was mainly interested. I didn't mean to take up all this time, but just someone might have thought some like clever little like maybe show them this or that or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, go on. Right.
My approach has really been the same as Sam. As I'm lucky enough to have a pretty small class, so I'm able to. I don't have a teaching assistant. There's just one of me, but my class is small enough that I'm able to jump in and say, "Oh, you're having problems with this. Let me figure out what you don't understand about it and try to help you understand, or let me give you a push in the right direction. You know, look at the active record query documentation or whatever is relevant to the problem they're on right now.
Yes, yes. I mean, I think that I don't. From what you're saying there, Richard, I don't have any more particular suggestions than the ones that you came up with there, which I think which all sound good to me. Yeah, it's like, I mean, showing them. I mean, I think definitely showing them a bit of like, I can do this and I can get a nice interface change to kind of that. So at least the people who are awake will kind of go, oh, actually, like I could, you know, I could do some interface design here and get something happening in a web page. I think it does. It feels to me that there's the next step beyond having flipped the classrooms, which we were all doing, is then about level of engagement, which I think comes into, I mean, my even more radical plan that they probably will never let me do here is although I'm the head of education, so, but anyways, that's another story. Is having it so that it's all like, rather than it being these kind of toy problems, that it's all like stuff that people are interested in from the start. Do you know what I mean? Like it's I mean, for people who really can't think of something they would like to build, then sure, they can have a toy problem to work on. We have that as stock. But what it should be coming in from the beginning is, you know, what are you excited about? What would you like to build? Let's build that, and then that's ideally that would be the way in for getting, you know, engagement from the start.
Yeah.
It sounds completely impossible.
I mean, I have, you know, I mean, we don't have enough time to get into it, but I'm sure you've thought about all the negatives, and you know, like I'm a little bit more mixed on that one, I think, but that would be, you know, that could be an ideal when you find it, if you can find the right sort of the right match of projects and skills and you know what those projects need, that could be a good learning. Otherwise, you know, I could think there's something valuable to say, like, you know, we're gonna come up with something that will make sure at least you touch on these areas where a regular project might be more hit or miss.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I'm thinking along the lines of, is if we can define the, you know, right, we'd like to do a project, but we'd like you to have these things, like it should involve a component of interface design, and that needs to have some development, it needs to have some behavior development, it needs to have some oriented design, and sort of specify, like, you know, we believe that these are the concepts that you need to master. Let's try and work out a project that covers those points. And I mean, I think it would be more work up front, but I think that the benefits of engagement in the long run would be very, very valuable. I'll try and like get it to work and write a book about it and share that with you and see if we can't. I mean, it is.
Well, I'm trying to engage you so I can get my name mentioned in the acknowledgments.
We could write the book together. We can write the book together. It's yeah. Sorry, Janet, were you going to say something there?
No, I mean, this does sound a lot like sort of problem-based learning, and you know what I'm sort of thinking about is the movie reviews example is nice in that it's really familiar and easy to understand. But I do wonder if I do sort of wonder if one could have like a suite of different problems to work on, and you choose one and you'll learn essentially the same things. But you can choose something that's interesting to you. I guess as someone who, my students are working on projects, I can see value in them not only working on the projects, but also having the kind of canned exercises where they know it is possible.
Yeah, right. Well, ideally, yes. Ideally, they're being given something that people have demonstrated that can be done, and that yes. I think that there's definitely space for the toy problems. What I worry about is that how I mean, I think what we're all hoping to do is kind of reach that extra 15, 20, 30, whatever percentage it is, who are just sort of not engaged. And I think
well, that's actually not my problem here, fortunately.
You guys are, yes. So that's a different. So yeah, you're finding your students are all very engaged.
In general, I'm sure some of my students who are engaged could be more engaged. But getting them engaged at all is there's already kind of a baseline of engagement.
Yeah,
that's great.
Indeed. Anyway, I'm going to need to kind of like slip off. You guys can carry on talking. Rose may pop in there. I will see if I can get onto your spot part twos later on this evening. Touch wood.
Okay, and I will ask my Slack questions for sort of next time if they're especially.
Well, if they're quick, I have like a minute for. Yeah,
Well,
what did you...
all it is, and this is just a starting point. The thing that confused me about Slack, and this has been my sort of ignorance in researching it, it seemed to be like sort of very project-based, and I wasn't sure how to incorporate that in my classroom. It's like if not everyone is on the project.
I mean, no. I mean, we happen to have in Agile Ventures and also in Makers, we happen to have project chat rooms. But I mean, so for example, Rose has here. She has a room that's just for her class, and so she has a class chat.
And that's the thing. And again, like all I'm saying is that when I first saw it, it was like it confused me, and so I didn't really pursue it. So I'm taking it on myself that I need to sort of look at it again. But I'll leave it at that.
I mean, my view is very messy because I'm in all of these different rooms. But I think, as Janet will find when she goes in through the invite, by default,
I'm already.
Yeah.
I already have a Slack organization for my class.
Okay.
And then
so there are project channels, but there's also just a homework channel, and that's honestly the one that's been seeing the most traffic lately.
Right. And then also, I mean, I've got a lot in there, but it's got, you know, initially the students or yourself dropping in, Richard, will only see a very small number of channels, and it's only then that you go and look at, you know, large ones if you want to add them.
Yeah. Okay. So
that
ends your time.
Yeah, it does.
So that's a good for what I was looking for.
Yeah, so this is the students in their project chat room, you know, for Makers asking, and I should just go in and check in with them before I leave for the day. But yeah, I'll leave the recording going, and you know, you guys feel free to carry on chatting. Maybe Rose will show up, maybe she won't. I mean, we will see. But yeah, either way, I'll be in touch with the Spot Part 2s.
Okay. So, well, who's going to end the recording? Because I'll probably only stay like really short.
No, I
need to get onto my class prep.
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe we'll just Shall I? Well, I mean, I'll shut this down and it will automatically finish in 5 minutes. So, yeah. Good. I'll leave you to chat and catch up with you next week.
Okay. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
And I'll let you go. I need to go. Are you gone already, Janet? You're gone.
Yeah. No, I'm still here, but I need to go and get to my class.
Okay, that's fine. I'm good. It's good seeing you, and we'll catch up next week.
Next week. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.